Leonard Shelby takes a photo of the person he killed. Leonard wakes up in a room and gets a call from someone. The room feels unfamiliar, and he doesn't remember anything. Leonard tells Teddy that he has already told him about his condition. They sit in Leonard's car, and Leonard says he wants to go to Sherlock. Teddy tells him it's no use going to an abandoned building, but they go there. He sees a picture of Teddy with a note written on it saying Teddy is the killer, and to kill him. Leonard captures Teddy, who tells him he doesn't know himself. Leonard says he knows he is Leonard Shelby from San Francisco, and then shoots a bullet. In a Blackish sequence, Leonard talks about remembering only one day at a time, and made a tattoo of Sammy Jankis on his hand to remember someone with the same symptoms. He says it really takes a system to survive. In a whitish flashback, Leonard writes about killing Teddy. Leonard talks to Bert about picking up his phone calls and tells him that he has a condition different from amnesia. He has short-term memory loss, remembers everything about himself, and says that after the incident, he can't make new memories and forgets everything after sleeping. The only thing he remembers about the accident is his wife. Leonard tells Bert to call him in his room when Teddy shows up. Teddy appears and gets killed by Leonard at Sherlock. Leonard always writes notes to himself and remembers his handwriting. His coat has 6 pockets where he keeps specific things, and he also writes important information on his body as notes. Leonard gets a call and sees his tattoos in a bathroom to remember Sammy Jankis and the facts. A waiter hands papers to Leonard saying he left them at the table, and Leonard asks for directions to Lincoln Street. Leonard reaches a house and puts pictures on a wall where names are written. Leonard sees some papers given by Natalie, which mention John Edward, who told Leonard his name was Teddy. Leonard takes off his shirt and sees tattoos on his body, stating that John G. raped and murdered his wife, and so Leonard has to kill him. Leonard also wrote the license number of the killer's car. He tattooed that the killer's first name could be John or James, and that he is a drug dealer. An unknown caller phones Leonard, who tells him he doesn't remember talking before due to his condition, and also talks about Sammy Jankis, who had a similar condition, but Leonard had a reason to live. Leonard wrote about Natalie saying she will help him out of pity because she also lost someone. Leonard meets Natalie and apologizes for not remembering her. Natalie tells Leonard she helped trace the license plate number, and the name came up as John Edward Gamble, and she gives him other information. Natalie also tells Leonard to go to the abandoned building, saying drug dealers operate there. Natalie gives Leonard keys, saying he left them because he lives at Discount Inn. Leonard, in the bathroom looking at his hand tattoo, remembers. Leonard tells the unknown caller he was an investigator and that his first case was Sammy, who was denied and sent to a mental hospital. Leonard says he has learned how to tell if people are lying. In a white flashback, Teddy meets Leonard for lunch and tells him he is tired of hearing about Sammy Jankis. Teddy and Leonard talk about John G., and Teddy warns him not to kill based on unreliable notes since he has no memory. Leonard says he will collect facts because memory can be distorted, but facts can't. Teddy says they will catch John G. Leonard tells Teddy he lives at Discount Inn but doesn't know the room number. Leonard tells Bert he misplaced his keys, and Bert, betraying Leonard for rent money, tells him he rented another room, which Leonard understands. Leonard meets Natalie to get information about John G. In a black and white flashback, Leonard tells an unknown caller how he came across Sammy's insurance case involving a short-term memory loss disease after an accident that made him forget everything in a few minutes. In a white flashback, Leonard wakes up in someone's bedroom and sees a girl sleeping beside him, Natalie. Natalie tells Leonard she'll help him trace the license plate. Leonard reads about Natalie in his notes. In a blackish flashback, Leonard tells the unknown caller that they tested Sammy repeatedly to see if he could avoid electrified objects placed in the same spot, but he failed. Leonard meets Natalie and angrily asks about Dodd. Natalie tells him Dodd beat her, and Leonard decides to help her. Leonard tells her someone wants him to kill the wrong guy. Natalie consoles Leonard and tells him she also lost someone named Jimmy. They spend the night together, and Leonard sees a picture of Jimmy. In a white flashback, Leonard wakes up in a motel, sees a gun with a Bible, and sees Dodd tied up. Suddenly, Teddy arrives. They see Dodd, and Dodd says Leonard did that to him, and he won't help kill John G. Teddy and Leonard plan to get rid of Dodd. Afterward, Leonard goes to Natalie asking about Dodd. In a whitish flashback from a few days ago, Dodd entered while Leonard was showering, and Leonard beat and tied him. In another whitish flashback, Dodd tries to shoot Leonard. Struggling, Leonard drives around and suddenly forgets everything, narrowly escaping Dodd. Leonard sits alone thinking about his wife. In a blackish sequence, Leonard investigates drug connections and finds that John G. left drugs in a car. A few days ago, Leonard asked a blonde to slam the door to wake him. In the past, Sammy's wife tells Leonard she is trying to get the old Sammy back, but it's hard. Leonard tells her Sammy isn't faking it. It's a psychological issue. Teddy tells Leonard not to trust Natalie as she has already used him. Leonard says he found out Natalie is a drug dealer. Teddy asks how Leonard got his suit and car, and Leonard replies he investigates insurance cases and gets money from that. In a blackish sequence while on the phone, Leonard sees a tattoo warning him never to answer the phone, which surprises him. In a whitish sequence, Leonard tries to write something, but Natalie arrives saying Dodd beat her because she told him she had no drugs or money and that Teddy must have taken it. She also says she told Dodd about Leonard's car. After reading the tattoo, Leonard tells Bert not to take any calls for him. In another whitish sequence, Natalie offends Leonard, but he doesn't find a pen to write it down. He tries to concentrate, but Natalie uses Leonard and comes back saying to kill Dodd because they believe she set up Jimmy and ran off with Teddy, stealing money. But that didn't happen. In a blackish sequence, Bert tells Leonard a cop is calling, so he has to take the call for him. In a whitish sequence, Leonard tells Natalie that the police don't believe there was a second killer of his wife, and that John G. put the bloody sap in the dead killer's hand. In a blackish sequence, Leonard receives a letter asking him to pick up a call. In a blackish sequence, Leonard answers the call and is told to come to Freddy's bar to follow someone named Natalie, whom Leonard doesn't know. In the bar, Leonard meets Natalie. She tells him her boyfriend, Jimmy Grants, told her about Leonard and his condition. She also asks if Teddy sent him because a cop is asking for Leonard. This is the first time Leonard and Natalie meet. In a blackish sequence, Leonard tells an officer on the phone that nobody understands his condition and says he didn't believe in Sammy. His wife asks Sammy to give her a final insulin shot, even though she already had one, but he didn't remember and gave it, leading her into a coma she never recovered from. Leonard gets a tattoo of John G's license plate. When Leonard gets the tattoo, Teddy arrives. Teddy tells Leonard it's not safe to hang around because a cop is mocking him with phone calls, claiming Jimmy is the drug dealer and his girlfriend works at the bar. Teddy tells Leonard to change clothes. Leonard escapes from the bathroom after seeing a photo labeling Teddy as a liar. The officer tells Leonard he'll be at the bar. Leonard calls Teddy Officer Gamble because Teddy tricked him again and tells Leonard to write his name as Teddy, not Gamble. Teddy gives Leonard the address of Sherlock. Jimmy Grants meets Leonard there, and Leonard kills him. But Jimmy says the name Sammy, meaning he knows him. Leonard takes a picture as a record. Teddy claims he helped Leonard find the rapist and drug dealer, and that Bert is with him. Teddy tells Leonard it's all an illusion, and Sammy never had a wife. It was Leonard's wife who was diabetic. Leonard doesn't believe him. Teddy tells Leonard he already killed John G. years ago. Leonard still doesn't believe him, and then Teddy reveals his real name is John Edward Gamble. Leonard writes in his notes not to believe Teddy that he is John and then calls him to the abandoned building and kills him.